play before.
Hey everyone, welcome back to She Burbs Podcast. I am your host, Brook, Wright. Hey everyone, welcome back to She Burbs Podcast. I am your host, Brook, Wright.
Hi everyone, welcome back to She Burbs Podcast. Today's guest is Aura E. Martinez. I don't think I pronounced it right, did I?
That's okay. Aura, yes.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Well, thank you for having me here.
So, how are you today?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great. So what inspired you to become a self-discovery and empowerment coach?
Yes. Well, I actually started out as a wellness and life coach, helping people get out of the sugar roller coaster they would find themselves in.
Mm-hmm.
And what I noticed from some of the clients that were coming to me, as well as my own journey, was that the issue that a lot of people have when it comes to like weight loss and getting themselves really healthy, it's not
Mm-hmm.
so much that they need to know exactly what to eat and what exercise to do, but there's a relationship that they're having with food and their body that they are not aware of. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's when I was able to put two and two together. And I understood then that if we were to get to the core of who we really are, and we remove those layers that cover our essence, our soul, we can literally transform several areas of our life simultaneously. And
Wow.
that's because you're getting to the core of who you are. When you understand your triggers, when you
Mm-hmm.
understand what motivates you, when you understand what's going on within you in your own inner world, like you could transform your life tremendously. So that's what made me transition to being a self-discovery and empowerment coach.
Oh, nice. That's amazing. So,
Oh,
can
thank
you
you.
that's really amazing. Can you tell our listeners, like, if they were to hire you, what type of courses would they be taking? Like, what you would, like, walk them through it? Like, yeah.
Yes, I got it. I got it. um, I actually guide my clients through a process that I created called the Aura Blueprint. Yes,
Oh.
it has my name for a reason. That's because every letter represents each step. So the first step that I do is that we assess. We assess where is it that they are, where they would like to be, what is necessary to close that gap. But not only that, just like pilots, before every flight, they have that flight map, right? They know what route they need to take to go to the final destination. But they also make sure that the plane is good to go. It's good
Yeah.
for the journey, right? And so we're going to be doing the same thing. It's going to be important that the client is ready for the journey inside and out. Because sometimes we can say, okay, this is what I want, but you may not necessarily be ready. You
Mm-hmm.
may not be ready mentally for that. You may not be ready emotionally for that. So that's going to be very, very important. So that's the first step. The U in the Aura Blueprint is for understand. We're going to understand what has kept you parked at
Yes.
the gate all this time, right? And this is where the transformation starts.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when we start peeling those layers that has been covering their true essence, which is their soul, that has kept them stuck. This is when we start removing that. The R in the Aura Blueprint is for realign. We're going to realign all parts of them. The reason why this too is very important is because you're going to notice that as you are transforming your life, when you remove the stories, the beliefs, the things that you have held on to for too long, what
Mm-hmm.
happens? You could feel foreign, like oh my God, I feel weird. because you've been holding on too long to something, so you got comfortable with it. So this is the part where you start aligning yourself with your real truth, with who you really are. That way you don't feel tempted to go back to the old habits, the old way of thinking, the old way of living. Then the final A in the aura blueprint is for aliveness, because aliveness is what you're going to feel when you see that your outer world matches your inner world, because your inner world, you are in alignment with that, with what you want.
Wow, I love that. I love that you
Thank you.
created courses with your name. Like that's pretty cool.
Well, that's actually my process, not the courses. I actually do offer courses, but
Oh,
that's separate. Like, say for example, if people wanted to do this work on their own, they
mhm,
can definitely take up the courses that I have created, if that's what you're referring to. And I
mhm,
have so far 4 different courses. But if they work
mhm,
one on one with me, that's the process that I guide them through. It's called Aura Blueprint. That's my signature methodology.
that's nice. So do you do like for your coaching, do you do payment plans or is it just one lump sum of the payment?
Both. They can
But
either pay in full or they could do payment plan. The only one that doesn't have a payment plan is the 1 month work with me. That's
mhm,
because it's only that 1 month that they're working with me and that's it. So there's no payment plan for that. For everything else, there's a payment plan, except for the courses. The courses, because they're short, they're
mhm.
much cheaper. That is it paying full.
I like that. I like that. I
Yes.
like it that coaches have payment plans now instead of
Yes,
one lump sum.
of course.
So, can you tell our listeners a little bit about your latest book, Creating a Lifetime Wellness?
Sure, sure. So, creating a lifetime of wellness, start having the life you deserve. I hope you don't mind me sharing how
Yeah,
it looks. Yes.
I like that.
Oh, thank you. I discuss different areas of our life that we tend to take for granted or not really realize the impact that it has in our life. So, some of the topics that I discuss is how you need an oasis. That oasis is your home. Mind you, this was published in 2017, before the pandemic. I think
Mhm.
that after this pandemic, I think we all know how important it is that our home is our oasis.
Right.
I discuss how important it is for you to know what your needs are:
Mhm.
sleep, your relationship with your body, knowing how to choose your friends right, your companion
Yes.
right, work that you love, among many other things that is so important that we pay attention to. By the
Yes.
way, I hope you don't mind me mentioning, what it was last year that I published also the diary, Creating a Lifetime of Wellness journal. Actually, it's a journal. And
Yeah.
here I cover every area that's covered in the book. It even includes a food diary. That's what I
Wow.
was thinking of, and I said a diary, but I meant a journal at the very beginning. It also has a sleep journal there too, so that you can record and you can understand yourself in a much deeper level. This is like having me coach you in all those areas of your life, but you're doing it yourself.
Oh, nice.
So cute too.
It is. It is. I like it. So, can we purchase it like at Barnes and Noble? We can purchase both of those books at Barnes and Noble, or do we have to order them online?
So one of them, which is the first book, the actual book, that you
Mhm.
can order it online. Barnes&
Okay.
Nobles, Amazon, and many other stores also offer it, or they could
Mhm.
get it on my site. The journal, however, that can only be purchased through my site,
Oh.
www.auraemartinez, the name that's on the screen without
Mhm.
that dot after the
Mhm.
E, .com.
Uh, that's nice. So,
Thank you.
what what do you like to do when you're not coaching or writing books?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love so many things. So, on a personal level, I love cross stitching,
what
believe it or
what
not. Cross
what is it?
stitching,
What's
cross
oh,
stitching. Oh my
I'm trying to
gosh.
think of it. Is it like crocheting a little or
Oh, I can't crochet. I tried that and I couldn't. So you know the cloth that has like squares, and so what was it that I say? Now I'm here thinking about needle pointing because it's similar to needle pointing, but it's not. You're
Oh.
actually doing these crosses, and I wish I had something to show you. I mean, really, I love that. I also love cooking. I enjoy cooking very much, working out, just being by nature. Yeah.
Nice. So, what was your, I'm trying to think, what was your toughest like client that you helped them through? Like, what was their, what did, like, I'm trying to figure out how to word it. That'll make sense. Like, what did you help your client through that they had a tough time going through? Like, tough time, like, getting through it. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. I guess the question that you're wanting to ask is, what is the most challenging thing that my clients have been through?
Yeah, like, yeah, that's it.
There have been several of them. I'm One of the things that I've noticed through many of my clients is how challenging it is to actually go to the most dark, hurtful places.
Hmm.
And I gotta say that it's so important that we go there because it is that place, it is our shadow self
Hmm.
that holds the key to the very things that we want. Now,
Yes.
I get clients that come to me for different reasons,
Hmm.
and so every situation is quite unique. But the one thing that I've noticed in common, whether they're trying to release a memory because it is that memory that's holding them back from really stepping into their most purposeful life, or one of them who she kind of knew, but she wanted something else to change outside of her when it was her that needed a change.
Yeah.
It's the common theme has been going there, going to that place that they just did not want to go, but didn't think that that was the source of why they weren't moving forward in life. I hope
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it did. It did. And like speaking to you and how you described it, I wrote a status on Facebook that I prefer coaches over therapists because I feel like
Yeah.
I relate more to a coach for some reason compared to a therapist. And I'm taking two coaches right now. I'm taking two different coaches right now. And I'm like, this is helping me a lot more than my therapy did. And I went
Yeah.
to therapy for like 5 years. And this guy has helped me in 3 weeks. And I'm like, how does this happen? So I was definitely recommending coaches to people compared to therapists. And people's like, yeah, I agree with you. I'm like, yeah. And speaking to you, I see it like even more from more coaches. I'm like, I definitely prefer coaches.
Thank you. And you know what? As a person who was considering to be a therapist, there's a big difference. Mind you, so much respect for the therapy field. I want to put that out there. The difference, one of the biggest difference is that coaching is very solution oriented.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean, at least for me, that doesn't mean that I don't um that I overlook things that are very important. I definitely, if I have to go there with a person, I go there with the person because that's what's required for them to go on the other side. However, we're not going to stay for too long in the past. We're not doing that.
Right.
We're because otherwise there's no forward movement. And
Mhm.
coaching is about that forward movement. It's about getting you there a lot faster.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like. I feel like therapists go like deep into your past. They want to know what happened, like deep into the past instead of what you can do now, how you can
Yeah.
get over that, how can you achieve it. They want to go and talk about the past, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. I'm trying to get over this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
definitely agree. I agree with you.
Yes.
So, what advice would you give our listeners who want to hire a coach, such as yourself, but are on the fence about it? I think you just explained that.
Yeah. Well,
But
I think the question for people to ask themselves is, how long can you stay in the situation that you're in?
right.
Can you afford to stay in the situation that you're in? Because if you can afford to be in the situation that you're in, okay, then don't hire a coach then. But if
Right.
you're really but if you're really wanting to transform your life, and I want to also say this before I even move forward. Sometimes we think that we need a coach only when things are really hitting the fan. Not
Right.
necessarily. Not necessarily. I got to say that me having this deep level of understanding about myself and how I am and how I function and yada, 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 has
Mhm.
been one of these biggest buffers whenever I could have hit rock bottom. I hope that makes sense. You
It
don't
does.
have you don't have to wait until you hit rock bottom.
Mhm.
If there's something in your life that you're wanting to transform, hire that coach. Hire that coach. How long can you afford to remain where you're at? Because if it's really
Exactly.
true that you are uncomfortable, then you will do something about it.
Exactly.
So much love.
Exactly.
I'm saying that with so much love.
That's really great advice. Because when I had tried to commit suicide last year on my birthday, then this year I've been interviewing nonstop. Like I think I got over 200 guests, and I just been interviewing. And one of the guys that I interviewed, he gave me, free classes, and I've been talking to him about it. And exactly what you were saying is what he said, like
Yes.
word for word. And I'm like, wow, wow.
Yes.
Yes, I
Yes.
agree. I agree with you. I want to thank you so much for coming on my podcast today and chatting with me.
Of course. Thank you for having me here. It's been beautiful. And you know what? It's beautiful that this is a treat that you even get to connect with all of us.
Hmm.
And for you to share that story that you just shared is an example for other people as well, that they can rise above if they find themselves where they're hitting rock bottom. So thank you. Thank you.
You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, I want to thank you all so much for listening to my interview. If you want to purchase her book or take any of her courses, you can go on my website. It's linked within this within this interview, and you can go and find her name. It will be under my podcast, and go and view her website. She has courses in her books and her journal, the journal that you can buy. So I hope you all have a great day, make great choices, and thank you all so much for listening to my podcast and supporting my podcast. Have a great day.